Okay, it is 6 o'clock. I call the meeting to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions in the open meeting law, GL Chapter 38, Section 18, and Governor Healy's March 29th, 2023 revised order extending remote participation by all members in any meeting of a public body. This meeting, the Select Board, will be conducted both in person and via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and our parties with a right and a requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website. For this meeting, members of the public and committee members may attend the meeting in person, or for those who wish to do so remotely. For those who are not in person, every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. Pursuant to MGL 7C 30A, Section 20F, notifying the chair of the public body, any person may make a video or audio recording of an open session of meeting of a public body, may transmit the meeting through any medium. At the beginning of the meeting, the chair shall inform other attendees of any such recordings. This meeting is being recorded by the Berkshire Edge, CTSB, and the town of Great Barrington. Any member of the public wishing to speak at the meeting must receive permission of the chair. The listing of agenda items are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. We have 2 sets of minutes. Do I have a motion on the first?
I make a motion to approve the Select Board and Board of Health joint meeting on December 7th, 2023.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
It's the
Next one. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
I make a motion to approve the Select Board meeting on December 12th, 2023.
I'll make a second with amendments.
Yes, go ahead.
So under public hearing for Guido's, down under select board discussion, I'd like to add in the select board discussed how Guido's is a Berkshire County / Great Barrington success story. A locally owned business that through the growth and transition is getting passed down to the next generation.
Okay.
In there, if that is okay, and then the next one is under new business, under the Ramsdale. And it was just the vote count, all in favor, it should be 4-0 with 1 abstaining.
Okay, perfect. So will you accept those amendments?
Yes,
Okay.
I make a motion to accept the amended December 12th, 2023 Select Board meeting.
So we withdrawn the other motion and we have the amended and you, Sarah, for second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Select board's announcements and statements. Ben?
Nothing for me tonight.
Eric?
Nothing, thank you.
Lee?
One thing, on Thursday, I traveled to the State House and testified before the Joint Committee on Housing. It was an 11-hour hearing. I was called at around the 8th hour, I think, but I felt that it was important that Western Mass and Great Barrington, that we were represented and that any funding decisions regarding housing or policy takes into account Western Massachusetts and Great Barrington. So I was very, very honored to be able to testify in front of that committee.
Thank you, Lee. Mark? Go right ahead with town manager's report.
Thanks, Steve. I just have a few updates for you this evening. Houstonic Waterworks, our reimbursement program continues. We've received about 100 applications to date. We have a small team made up of staff and volunteers processing applications as we receive them. Our request for just north of $20,000 from the reserve fund was approved last week by the Finance Committee. That funding will cover the cost of our financial evaluation for a potential purchase of the Houstonic Waterworks system. And lastly, we'll be meeting in executive session with our attorney at the conclusion of this meeting to continue our strategy sessions. One last announcement this evening. Our FY25 budget season is well underway internally, and we'll be presenting the proposed budget on Tuesday, February 6th this year. Our meetings will once again be held in hybrid format, so people can participate in the process here in this room in person, or they can join virtually from home if they wish to. And I just wanted to mention that the schedule of hearings is already posted in the news section of our website. So if anyone would like to take a look, they are posted as of today. And the draft budget will be posted after our kickoff meeting on the 6th. And I'll also include a copy of the PowerPoint presentation at that time as well. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Next, public hearings, a poll petition, work order number 308-51677. Request to install one SO pole on Pleasant Street, beginning at a point approximately 130 feet east of the center line of the intersection of Highland Street, continuing approximately 60 feet in a southwest direction. National Grid requests to install one utility pole within public right of way. New utility pole is at the request of the town and will provide electric service for the park in Housatonic. Also for permission to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, and wires in the above intersecting public ways for the purpose of making connection with such pole and buildings as such as said petitioners may desire for distributing purposes. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a
Steve,
second?
out of abundance of caution, I'm gonna recuse myself.
Sounds good. Ben, do I have a second?
Second.
It's a roll call vote. Ben,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. Hello.
Hello, I'm Steve Hayward. I'm with National Grid. We are requesting to install one new pole on Pleasant Street in Housatonic. This new pole is gonna be right near the park there, and it's gonna provide power to the park at the request of the town. I'm not sure if anybody here is for this, but I have some visuals if anyone is interested.
I'd love to see some visuals.
You sure? Anyone else?
It's, I think it's in the packet if it's the same.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same, just what you did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it.
So I'm here to answer any questions regarding this project from the board or any of others.
Okay, so let's, anyone here to speak in favor or opposition, whether online or in person? Not seeing anyone? Questions from the select board?
Do you want to just speak a little bit of why this poll is going in? Do you know, or?
Yeah, so I talked with Joe Aberdale about this project, and yeah, so he just says that that the town wants power in this park for a variety of things. He was mentioning some community related things, maybe some shows and whatnot to go there, so.
I think party in the park,
Yeah.
I think Eric may have requested.
Yeah.
Through the, well, you're on the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just thought it'd be good to explain for the
Yeah.
record. Yeah.
yes,
It's,
I figured you knew.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's great.
very excited to bring power to the Housatonic Park.
Yes.
Good news.
If we have no comments from other boards, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call vote, Ben.
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. Any other discussion? Seeing none, a motion to grant the request.
I make a motion to request for the poll
So-
on Pleasant Street.
Motion to grant the request, do I have a second?
second,
Any other discussion? Roll call, Ben.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I. It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
thank you.
Got a new business. A couple of these we are going to do just very briefly or skip over. So the first one, Eric, I forgot to tell you to come back. I'm terrible at that. Okay, so the next one that we are not skipping over is the WEB Du Bois Legacy Committee Festival Update 2024. So, Gwen, Sarah, Maria,
Usually Glenn's coming in as a panelist.
and Randy's here, so we'll promote Randy.
Okay.
All right, can you all hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Good evening, and Sarah's at the podium. Is she there? We're gonna do this, we're gonna tag team it, but thank you so much for having us. And the first thing we want to say is we're really happy to have Lee as our new select board liaison. We had an informal group conversation. It was just really great to have the support and your presence, so thank you. I just think some people may not know about the Legacy Committee. I don't think we presented in a while. So the mission of this committee is to preserve and promote Great Barrington's native W.B. Du Bois and his legacy as a scholar and activist for freedom, civil rights, progressive education, economic justice, and racial equity and equality. So we do that in a number of ways. This time of year, we're very much focused on his birthday, which we have determined is a holiday in Great Barrington. So we, emerging from the pandemic, as it were, we're really excited to be in person and celebrating this year. So I'm not sure if Randy, you want to say anything, or I'll just keep going until I get to Sarah. But we're planning the festival the way we've done in the past, where there's an invitation for many different organizations to celebrate Dr. Du Bois over the span of a period of time. We actually kick off with MLK Day, and we were really excited to have Lee join us with Macedonia Baptist Church and Bridge, and we had a great honoring of Dr. King, and the banners always go up for Dr. King's weekend, so that's to us when the festival actually starts. And then right now, Simon's Rock has actually decades-long tradition of celebrating Dr. Du Bois, so that's happening on February 19th. And then we are going to do something on the holiday along with the Du Bois Center for Freedom and Justice. And then Jacob's Pillow is represented on our committee by Tasia Giles, and she is working with 10 by 10. So that stretches us outside of our town area. And Sarah is going to talk to you about our committee's plans.
Sure. So for this year, which is the 6th annual Du Bois Festival, the committee along with Bridge will be presenting a panel discussion, and the theme that we're focusing on is actually practicing Du Bois's habits of democracy today. So bringing guests, the full panel of guests will actually be announcing at the next meeting on the 31st. But the idea will be to sort of delve into what we learned from Du Bois's work and life, how we actually put that into practice, practicing democracy, which is a quote from Du Bois. And one more event, but this is another, I think the second or third year that the family crew at Du Bois Middle School will also be using that time in February to kind of hold some open space just for learning and sort of bringing kids in the middle school into the discussion as well.
Yeah. And then we were working with Du Bois's great grandson, Jeff Peck, that often comes out annually, and he thinks he's going to be in a crowd on the actual birthday and would come out the following week. And he wants to speak with youth in the area and also partner with a group that's in Western Mass, but further east, called MOCA, Men of Color and Health Awareness. So that's a piece that Jeff wants to bring in. Jeff is very much interested in joining our legacy committee as a family representative, which is something we'll get to later. It's related to some of the stuff we're postponing tonight, but I thought that was an interesting proposal he brought to the committee a month ago. Some of the other organizational things we're trying to do is really have the NAACP represented on our committee. We are beginning to collaborate more and more with the Du Bois Freedom Center. Lee has affiliations with Black Shares, but so will some of the future nominees. And so that I think is really powerful. And we are going to be reaching out to Berkshire Black Economic Council. And then of course, Bridge has been here and will stay around. And then also the Du Bois Sculpture Project group will be well represented once we get our new slate of committee members, and then also continuing to work with UMass. I wanted to run through some of the goals of this year really quickly. We need to, our banners I think are 5 or 6 years old, so we want to spruce those up, so you'll hear about that more during the budget season. We also want to do regularly planned updates to the select board, just so we have more of a presence. So we're thinking the month after the legacy, just to kind of give you an update on all the work that happened, because often events pop up and it's organic as well as planned. And then, and also in September, which is ahead of the other event we usually do in October with the anniversary of the dedication of the home site. So we think those two updates will keep everybody informed. We want to pick up on something one of your former committee members offered for us, is to be a resource in those 4 values that we're upholding of Du Bois's legacy. So we want to actually talk to other committees and see how we can be in partnership and support. We also, when people come to town to visit, looking for work about Dr. Du Bois, we want to send thank you notes, and starting with the sculptors, all the sculptors that sent in their pieces, we want to send thank you notes from the town and the committee because they invested a lot, and we'll talk about their experience out in the world. We want to make sure that's a good conversation. One of the things that we talked about, and Lee and I just kind of touched base lightly so far, but Macedonia Baptist Church is our only local active Black church in Southern Berkshire. It's turning 80 years old. It holds a lot of history on Rossiter Street, and they're running a campaign to support the physical structure. So we want to support that as the committee, and we would ask anyone in our community to support that as well. And let me see, you know about the sculpture project. And I think that's it, Sarah. I want to turn it back to you for.
I don't know if I have anything more to add, except that we will be back in a couple weeks.
Great. That's terrific. We look forward to that. Thank you very much to both of you, and I know Randy's there in spirit at least, so thank you very much. We were tonight planning to appoint new members to the Legacy Committee, but we're gonna put that off for a couple weeks while we clarify how many vacancies there are so that we can appoint. I think we have 4 applicants, and I think we're going to end up with 4 vacancies, so we'll make it neat and clean, hopefully at the next meeting. So, yeah, first.
So as the liaison for the Legacy Committee, I just want to express my gratefulness, and I'm really honored to be part of this group, and I'm thrilled to see how it's taking on more of a youth-centered aspect, since I really think it's, you know, so important to kind of bring this into the current generation and make sure that they appreciate the legacy of Dr. Du Bois. And I'm thrilled to you know, see that Ari Zorn and Dubois Thomas from the Blackshears as one of the founding members will be joining us. And I just think with all these wonderful partnerships sprouting and you know, coming into formation, I think this is really going to be a strong year. So I'm really, really grateful to be part of this. So thank you, Gwen. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Glenn. Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, vote to submit a 2024 District Local Technical Assistance application to the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission. Or do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, there was an executive summary in your packet for this evening. I'm just promoting Chris right now. He's the lead on this.
Okay, I didn't see it.
And I'll just remind you that this was also a moderate priority on our priority project list as well, the open space and rec plans. Chris, anything else you want to add?
No, thank you, Mark. As you said, this is a select board priority. I assume it will be a select board priority next week as well when you meet. The District Local Technical Assistance Program is a great way for us to get the assistance of the experts at Berkshire Regional Planning for things that we either can't do in-house because of staff time or because of expertise. So they can really help us with the mapping and other aspects of the open space and recreation plan that we need to do. Updating it this year will help keep us competitive for grants for open space and recreation projects. You know, and there's been a lot changing in terms of conserved land, in terms of demographic changes, and now is a good time to bring that up to date. So hopefully we'll be successful with this application and we'll be able to move that project forward this year.
Thank you, Chris. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to recommend the authorization of the DLT application by the chairman.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
The next, on the agenda, it's for, to discuss a letter of request from Todd and Weld LLP for an independent investigation We are gonna pass over that tonight. Mark, do you want to explain?
Sure. So on January fifth, we received a request from Attorney Cooper at Todd and Weld. A copy of that letter was included in tonight's, a redacted copy was included in tonight's packet for you and for the public. Asking that the town and the school district conduct an independent investigation into the December 8th complaint at the Du Bois Middle School. Since we were just assigned counsel through our insurance company this weekend, and we met with the attorney for the first time earlier today. I met with the attorney at 11:30 this morning. I'm going to recommend that you move this topic to table this and move it to your next agenda, just to give our attorney enough time to get up to speed. He has all the information he needs as of this morning. He just needs a little time to read through it, digest it, and he'll come back with a recommendation in time for that next meeting.
So that'd be February 12th.
Okay, yeah, so it wouldn't be on the agenda for the priority planning meeting.
No. Okay. February 12th. Okay. Everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Eileen?
The lawyer with the insurance company, I'm a little confused. Do you have a new law firm?
The insurance company appoints a law firm. And that lawyer from that law firm had a first meeting with Mark this morning.
Oh, you mean a lawyer just for this, not KP Law?
Correct.
All right.
Special counsel.
So it's a special counsel.
Oh, okay, all right, I didn't understand that. Then if Mark has already met with the special counsel, did he do it on the assumption that you would be approving the request? I don't quite understand the status. If the lawyer has already been given something to pursue, to read.
No, it's not the lawyer who's gonna do the investigation. It's a lawyer for an insurance company who represents us.
The lawyer from the insurance company is looking at the information.
Correct.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. There's one more hand up. Deborah Binko. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, I'm Deborah Minkoff, Great Barrington resident. I'm confused what exactly needs to happen while you're tabling this item? And also, second question, what has the select board been doing since the last meeting where there was a request to lay out a timeline, to discuss the issue, to think about action steps?
So I'll answer the second one first. Select board can't be doing anything unless it's in an open meeting, unless it's just one of us working with Mark. So the staff has been doing things, but the select board as a group can't do anything under the open meeting law unless we do it either an executive session or an open meeting, and that would be posted. And in order to conduct an investigation, we need the recommendation of our attorney that this is something that we should do since there is possibility of pending litigation.
Okay, I just one quick follow-up, really comment, because it's concerning to those of us who have been spending time on this issue and have shown up at various meetings to now learn that there may be a reluctance on the part of the select board to pursue an investigation.
Let me just correct
Am I
you.
misunderstanding?
No, you're misunderstanding. No one
Okay.
said there's a reluctance on part of the select board. The select board hasn't discussed it publicly.
Okay.
And we're
Right.
waiting for advice from council.
Okay, I'll just then, my last comment, thank you for indulging
Sure.
me, is this super frustrating to think that it'll be 2 months from the time of the incident until there's some action taken. But thank you for your express support, which you all have done in the last meeting. Thanks.
Yes, and just so everyone understands, council was appointed Friday from the insurance company. So that makes it a little difficult for them to catch up. And the first meeting was today with Mark, so that if council was appointed earlier, this would have worked. Mark, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think you pretty much summed it up.
Okay, next. Make sure everyone's. Okay. Ananda, go right ahead.
So to follow up on that, does that
Just name and address, Ananda, please.
Amanda Tempane, Seekonk Crossroad?
Thank you.
So to follow up on that, what level of transparency can be provided to the public about the action staff are taking? And second part of my question is, the letter from the ACLU and GLAD directed the police department to take corrective action. And I would like to think of that as the town's responsibility, not just the police department's, to instruct staff and inform the public that law enforcement, this is a quote, that law enforcement responses to concerns about books in schools and other educational programs are not appropriate and should not or will not happen. So my question is, like, is it possible to take action on that correction, or does all of that need to wait until there's been a full investigation with council?
I can say this, we're in the process, and by we, I mean staff, we're in the process of reviewing our policies and procedures now, as promised at the last meeting. The police department is also conducting a debrief on this incident. And we promised that we would come back to an open session with the chief and discuss that publicly. So that is happening right now. And we're waiting on legal advice for the investigation piece of this.
That answer, Amanda?
I guess my question is, like, is it your view that you cannot instruct staff and inform the public as we were asked to do by the ACLU and GLAD without that investigation?
It's really too soon for me to say. I just had my first meeting with our attorney this morning at 11:30. He's unable to give us legal advice right now because he's getting himself up to speed on the details. Like I said, staff is working now to review our policies and procedures. We've already shared a draft revised version of a policy with our attorney, so that's also being reviewed. So I hope to be back before the investigation is conducted, assuming we do conduct an investigation, to at least share an update on that portion.
Great. And for the policy changes, will there be a public comment period?
This board at our last meeting decided that they would hold a listening session when we discuss those policies. So I think the board is open to hearing from the public as well.
Yes.
The listening session would be specifically for you to receive feedback on the policy before the policy is finalized and implemented?
That would be one of the priorities of that session, yes.
Thank you. That's clarifying.
Thank you, Amanda. Eileen, you have another question?
Yeah, I did. What is the name of the insurance company that the lawyer is with? And have you given any thought to sharing the investigation that the school committee is doing rather than paying for your own? Which might.
So
I can answer the first part. Discussions within the school, not school committee, but within the school, felt it was not going to be appropriate to have one investigation, that there should be two separate investigations.
Is that from teachers, parents, administrators?
Administration, lawyers.
Okay, and what's the insurance company? The
The
lawyer?
insurance company's name is Massachusetts Interlocal Insurance Agency. The acronym is MIA, M-I-I-A, and the law firm representing us that's been assigned by MIA is Pierce Davis out of Boston.
Now, Pierce Davis is not going to do the investigation.
No.
It's just giving you a recommendation on who to hire, what kind of firm.
Yeah, no.
Related to the
What,
investigation.
when any, insurance company may have, some piece of a complaint or an incident, a lawyer is assigned from that insurance company to represent us and represent the insurance company, kind of a joint representation. The school district will have the same thing.
Oh. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next, the Berkshire Argus.
Hey, good evening. It's Bill Shine from the Berkshire Argus. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Yeah, great. Steve, could you clarify the distinctions between your role as the chair of the select board and the chair of the school committee when it comes to these various investigations, the select board's oversight of the police department, and whether any recusal might be appropriate for any of these?
No, there's no reason to recuse myself. As far as my role is simply as one member of each board. As chair, I have no more authority than anyone else, and I'm not privy to any more information than any of the other board members.
Terrific, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, the annual town manager performance evaluation. This is simply on here to let the public know and the board know that in your packet is the town manager performance evaluation form. We asked the board to return it by our meeting of February 12th. And we will have it on the agenda with the for the public to release it on February 26th. That should give everyone enough time. And I'll get a hold of Garfield and let him know.
And someone from my office will send you a fillable PDF if you prefer to do electronically.
So either way, whichever you want to do is fine. And Josh will be the point person in the office, I assume.
Yes.
In the packet is the FY 25 budget and financial policy. It is, other than the year, the same as last year's. The finance committee has recommended it, has approved it, and we just need an approval for ourselves.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget policy for next year, the 2025 fiscal year.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Citizen speak time. Just name and address, sir.
Sarah, Sandersfield Road in Monterey. I'm speaking as a parent with the school. And I just wanted to follow up the last discussion with a question about given that there's ongoing investigations, given that there's reviews that are in process, and I think we all really appreciate that, and also commitment to transparency around that. I guess my question is whether or not individual members of the select board are at liberty to sort of share their own reactions to the legal opinion that was offered by GLAD and ACLU in terms of the events and sort of that.
So what I would be glad to do, because this citizen speak is simply to let us to listen, and if it's not on the agenda, it's a little questionable whether we should be commenting. So I would be glad if anybody would like to speak, we can put it on the agenda for the 12th. Is that okay with everyone?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so we will do that on the 12th.
Yeah.
Michelle, go right ahead.
Michelle Levere, 70 Division Street. This board just supported the budget policy, which its strategic priorities are to ensure public safety, ensure public health, and strive for a high quality of life. And this is really important to me because I've been before this board on a couple issues which have gone unaddressed. The first is I had come before, reached out regarding crosswalks at Division Street Bridge. I was told there's a state law that applies to that. No state law has been provided to me or even a citation. Recently on Housatonic Neighbors, another Housatonic resident brought up a crosswalk on 183 between the sidewalk and Berkshire Mountain Bakery. And it's similar to the Division Street crosswalk request, where I was told it had to connect two sidewalks. There are two sidewalks there. As a matter of fact, there are a few areas in Housatonic where there are crosswalks. And no, they're not connecting two sidewalks. So if you want to go on to Housatonic Neighbors and look at the chatter on it, go right ahead. Because I'm dissatisfied with the response I received, I was wondering if it could be addressed in either a town manager's report or put on as an agenda item. As a side note, I met with Select Board member Garfield Reed at the bridge on December 10th to talk about what I deem as hazards at the bridge. And as a matter of fact, an incident happened there which underscored the lack of safety at that bridge while we were there. So again, I'm requesting that it be put on agenda, so it has to be addressed. I would love to hear what that state law is so we can pull it. The other issue is the rail issue up on Van Duzenville Road. I never received a response with regard to that. I had reached out to Representative Pignatelli and Senator Mark on December 7th, but I CC'd the board. Again, quality of life. No, not in Van Duzenville, there isn't. And that's R2 residential zone where a pile of debris from another area was dumped there and is still there. I would like that put on an agenda as well and address why this is being allowed. Because I haven't received any response, and as far as I'm concerned, the only way to get a response is to have it as an agenda item. So, that is my request tonight.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Seeing no other citizens speak, select board time. Ben. Eric.
Yeah, just wanted to say thank you for the town's work in the Board of Health. I saw the press release on the composting being available at the transfer station in Great Barrington. I know the Board of Health worked hard and it was one of their priorities, and also several other boards were discussing it. So it's glad to see that that was a quick turnaround to happen up there and helping eliminate a lot of waste from our town. So it's good to see.
I think you'll hear an update from Rebecca on the 29th also, since that's a new priority as of June. So.
Great. Lee?
Nothing.
And I have nothing media time. Seeing nothing, we will convene an executive session, not to return to open session. And the chair states that open session would have a detrimental effect on the negotiation position of the public body. And we would go into executive session under MGL Chapter 38, Section 21A for the following purpose. Number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation regarding Housatonic Waterworks. And 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate regarding Housatonic Waterworks. Do I have a motion?
I move that the board meet in executive session pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A for the following purpose. To discuss strategy with respect to Housatonic Waterworks, because an open discussion may have a detrimental effect on the litigation position of the board. And to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate regarding Housatonic Waterworks, because an open discussion may have a detrimental effect on the negotiation position of the public body and not to return to open session.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Roll call. Ben.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And I. We will not be going into executive session. There's another one listed to approve minutes because there's a typo on there with the date. We'll do that at another time. Thank you, everyone. We will not be returning to open session.